As I lift it, I try to make sure the flour gets underneath and stops it sticking back down again. This is really still too sticky to handle, but I want to get it so covered in flour that I can do it. Because now it's time to form it into the final ball. I'm going to do it without sound. Well, I'm going to do it without talking anyway, so you can listen to sounds. Nicer sounds than this. And you'll see I'm kind of pushing it up in the middle and folding it under at the sides. So we're keeping it the same ball that it's been for about 3 days now. Keeping it the same ball, we're just kind of folding it in and in and in on itself. So here we go. There we are, there's only really enough for one. It's going to be a big one, but I don't think it's going to outspill that. It's good to have lots of baking paper on it because we're going to lift it in and out of the Dutch oven thing. I can't remember oh, it's a casserole, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a very tall Pyrex casserole that we're going to bake this in with a lid. You've got to have a lidded vessel. Because basically you start baking this with the lid on and that gets the oven spring, keeps the heat really close around it, because of course we've warmed up the oven, we've preheated the oven for a long time when this happens, or we will have. And it's important to be able to get it in and out of there without losing too much shape, and then when the thing is so hot at the end you need to be able to lift it out by this, which doesn't get too hot because it's silicone paper of some kind and it just doesn't seem to get too hot. So that's why it's like that. Now I'm going to cover that with the cloth again. There we go, I think we're just about ready to bake it now. So the oven's coming up to temperature. Basically I've just put it on as high as it'll go. My oven gets to about 220-ish at the top, so somewhere between 220 and 230 Fahrenheit. And now the gas oven is warming up, ready to do the baking of it. It's early on Sunday morning, but I woke up this morning and the dough, it's just ready. That's the only thing I can say. In fact, it was probably ready about kind of 2-3 hours ago, so slightly past its best now. Thing to do is get it baked. I'm going to put some water in there, and that's my oven on its highest setting, which is about gas mark 8, so all being well, we'll have a good loaf very soon. Now my oven is in a place where there isn't much light, and being a gas oven I'm afraid I can't move it, but you can just see in the bottom there I've put the sponge tin. Tiny bit of water, doesn't need much water actually. The oven gets very, very hot, standing in the way of the light all through that one. So let's look again. I took the lid off, I used the paper to lift it in, and that is now ready for the oven. So it hasn't risen anything like as much as I thought it would, but that is actually, that's going to be alright, that's going to be edible. We'll pop it back in with the lid off now for another 10 minutes. It's had 20 minutes with the lid on, and another 10 minutes it's going to have now. There we go. Come around the other side out of the light, and now we see yet another use for the paper. we can just lift it out by the paper. Let's see what we've got. Let's just zoom in a bit on that. Now then, a lot of people would call this a fail because it just has not risen as much as I hoped it would. Possibly I should have risen it again. True to say, that might have helped, but there we go. I've done this before pretty much the same way and got a fabulous result, so I think it's just one of those things. Now I've got to try and get the paper off the back, and that really is starting to look like a fail, but that is what happens when you try and do these things. And if you try often enough, you'll get a good one. I had beginner's luck the first 2 or 3 times I did this, so I'll do another one soon to show you. Meanwhile, this one's going back in for a bit longer. Okay, let's bring it out. The great thing about sourdough bread, right, is that even though I'm calling this a fail, I'm looking forward to it. It's got a lovely smell to it already. It's just going to be a bit flatter than I wanted, but there. Let's do the famous baking test. Yeah, it sounds nice and hollow. I know it's hollow because it's got holes in it, which is always a pretty good indication of hollow. There you go, bit undercooked, and quite honestly I should have risen it a second time, or about a 10th time when I really think about it. But I will make some more because that is quite rare to get a fail like that, and it's not a total fail, as I say, because I'm going to eat some. I'll come back in a bit when it's cooled, because it's not good to slice the loaf when it's absolutely still fresh out of the oven and red hot. It lets air in and it sets up a reaction in the loaf. But yeah, I'll leave that. We'll be back in a minute and we'll have a look. It's had time to cool off now. Absolutely cold to the touch there. That is good, it keeps much better that way. Oop. Blimey, let's just bring it to the front then. Let's see what's inside it. Oh, the crust's nice and solid, I'll say that. Get this incredible plasticky crust with sourdough. There's no plastic in it, it just feels plasticky. Come on, it's quite hard to cut through the crust as well. Come on, there we go. Oh, I think that's quite positive, some nice big holes in that. If you get the holes too big, your jam or your butter or whatever you put on it runs through, which isn't, you know, it's not great for sandwiches and things like that if the holes are too big. Be interesting to see what it's like in the middle, but I'm just going to have that little slice for now and find out what it's like. It's just about mirrored on there. You can still see the outline of the paper, but it doesn't matter. You know, it's not a commercial operation, and this is going to be nice bread, I think. Let's find out. Right, let's find out what we're dealing with. Putting some sunflower spread on this. It is really nice with traditional butter, actually, because you get that saltiness, but there we go. I'm 54, I've got a heart condition, and I kind of like being alive. I'm not even going to have all that much to that. Let me put that there for now. So the moment of truth. What does it taste like? Yeah, that's quite nice. Very nice. That's actually got all the flavour and everything that I wanted. Got the texture as well, just didn't get the appearance. It would be a fail in a commercial bakery, and it would be a fail if I was trying to produce a masterpiece or something, but no, it's good homespun bread, that. Let's try it with marmalade. I'm now absolutely stuffing myself with this. Let's cut a couple of big slices because I want to see what it toasts like. I've got a pretty good idea. It's really more that I want to eat what it toasts like. That's very robust on the bottom there. Wow. Rye bread is good in thin slices, you know, it's very, very substantial. Although these aren't big slices, they're very filling. So there we are, look, we can see right into the grist of it now. And it's lovely and flexible because it's still fresh, and that's partly because of putting the tray of water, not the tray, the sponge case cake thing in the bottom of the oven with a bit of water in it, because that creates a steam oven, you know, and it's giving it a lovely texture. Right, let's toast this and see what's what. And here's some good things to spread on just about anything. I'm not advertising it, this is just my favourite. I avoid eating meat, and I find that Marmite and peanut butter on some kind of bread that's got a lot of wholemeal in, particularly with rye as well, like the sourdough bread, it's very close to the taste of bacon. It's not the texture of bacon, of course. I'm just trying this. I got this on Amazon. I've been buying the Meridian one for years, but the price suddenly went up from kind of £4 British, 4 GBP, at the moment about $4 actually. Suddenly sprang up to 7 in the space of about a year and a half, and it's just getting more and more expensive. This is £5, got a good kilo in there. It's really tasty stuff as well, as you'll see in a minute. I want to spread some on the bread. But look at that, it's quite smooth, but it's got lots of crunchy bits in. I'm delighted with it, really nice. The only thing is, right, it comes from bulkpowders.com, which just doesn't make you feel good, does it, somehow? But the peanut butter does, it's great stuff. And some Marmite. Right, let's see if it's ready. So a bit of Marmite. Da-da-da. Not too much. Don't want to go mad. On that one. It's a great British thing, Marmite. We love it or hate it. I'm not keen actually, but it's great on wholemeal. Great on rye. Some peanut butter on top there, just to make it right. Right, so I'm going to start off with this one by itself, nothing on it, just to see. And that is gorgeous. That really is lovely, though. I say it myself. There you go, sourdough bread. Very basic, very rustic. You could do it while you're camping, actually, because you can do the whole thing in a bowl without turning it out. And what we've got there is something very edible, very nice. Not quite as good looking as I wanted, but I'm going to really enjoy eating this for the next day or two. Thanks for watching anyway. See you again soon.